Okay, everybody welcome, and we are recording. So Dave Boberg, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Good evening, everybody. As Yvette said, I'm David Boberg. I am the Division C Director here in District 33 in Southern California. I want to thank everybody for signing in and visiting our club, our workshop tonight for Creative Theme Meeting Planning 101. I'm happy to say, last time I looked, we had about 45 people here participating from as far away as Nevada, Texas, Virginia. I'm in Iowa. Plus we have people from other countries, Canada, United Kingdom, Thailand, Malaysia, and Australia. I don't know if I missed anybody, but we have them from all over the world, the other side of the planet. Our workshop tonight will be presented by Lynn Scardina. She's an Advanced Communicator Silver and a competent leader. She is the VP of Membership and immediate past president of Toast to the Master and Lord Club in Westlake Village, California. Tonight, Lynn's Toastmaster career started just as her college ended. She decided, actually, scratch that. Her mother, who she was living with at the time, decided and announced, Lynn, you are going to be a Toastmaster. Just by sheer chance, Lynn happened to join the biggest and the most well-known competitive club in West Los Angeles. She's told me stories of their over-the-top meetings, parties, and adventures. Tonight, we're going to get the watered-down version, but trust me, when I tell you the watered-down version is still going to be amazing. After attending Lynn's 60s theme party at her club, I kept saying for days, groovy, far out, gnarly, man. Lynn and I have still been texting conversations. And just today, I said, lay it on me, Lynn. Are you going to do groovy tonight? Which she replied, I'm going to do out of sight, my brother. Our workshop is going to be a gas tonight. How are you? I said, I'm bad, meaning awesome. And far out, I replied. I've been bitten by the bug. I just love theme meetings now after attending Toast to the Master and Lord. At the end of this workshop, you will also feel excited and compelled to bring some new energy and enthusiasm into your club meetings. Once we are through with this Zoom season, I'm stoked to introduce this neato sister of mine in Toastmasters, who is just going to lay it on us. Fellow Toastmasters, can you dig it? Please welcome Lynn Scardina. Take it away, Lynn.
Oh, thank you, Dave. That was an awesome introduction. Just a very quick story. My mother, when she made this announcement, she handed me a note, Saturday night, a home address, and dress like a pirate. And it's like, you're kidding me, right? I don't want to attend Toastmaster meetings on Saturday nights. She said, just go, see what it's like. I threw my pirate stuff in the trunk of my car because I'm not about to show up to a group thing that I don't know what is going on at all. So I'm walking up to the house and I'm hearing all this laughter erupting, and I get to the backyard and I see everybody putting this black stuff on their teeth. It looks like they're missing teeth, and somebody was powdering dirt all over everybody so they look like they hadn't showered in weeks. It turns out I had joined a installation of officers meeting, and it was pirate all the way. The sergeant of arms was in charge of making you walk the plank. The membership was recruiting shipmates to help keep the ship spick and span. And of course, the president, well, they were the captain of the ship. My planned speech for my mom is, I tried it, it wasn't my thing. Instead, it was like, these people are insane. Of course I'm going to join. And the rest is history. My meeting experience of theme meetings, I have either attended, put on, or worked on a committee of over 65 theme meetings. And most of it was this crazy group in West Los Angeles. I mean, we did Bobby Sox, Prison, British Tea Party, Beach Party, Roaring Twenties, Pirate, of course. And then, of course, we also periodically celebrated a Thanksgiving or a Halloween or a spring or summer or even fun wear a hat night. so much fun. Now, when you think of planning a party at home, you think of you need your invitations, you need to figure out your food, your drink. Are you going to be decorating? Is there going to be entertainment? Are people going to be dressing up? Well, you're halfway there already if you know how to throw a good party as to how to throw a good theme meeting party. I wanted to first start out with a few general tips, and then I'm going to go into great detail into some of the parties that we've thrown and the successes that we've had. The first general tip is you need a timeline. If there is one thing that you get from this, it's a timeline. And I'm not kidding you, 2 months in advance. You want to start working with your PR people, and you want to make sure that they're on board. If they're not really doing a great job with PR, encourage them, get them a committee, get that going along. You want to draft up your flyer right away. And then you want to start finding your helpers that are going to help you put this on. Most people don't start planning what they're going to do for their table topics 2 months in advance. So if you start really early, you can probably get your inspiration on board with a theme, your joke master. No one has ever told me no when I've asked them, especially when I've given them lots and lots of time. And the guests are going to be blown away when you put that much detail and have all these people that are participating in the theme in the meeting. They're going to be so pleased and impressed. The other tip is also 2 months in advance. You want to be thinking about your budget. Not all theme meetings require a budget, but you want to start talking to the executive board. And then if there is a vote needed for some funds, you've got plenty of time to do that when you start 2 months in advance. Now, I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to ask everybody, can't see everybody, but I want you to give me a pinky. Everybody hold up your pinky. Okay, I need everybody to pinky swear. So you're going to be going like this. You're pinky swearing with me that I am going to give you all the documents tomorrow on the District 33 Division C website, and you in turn will invite me to any of your theme meetings. If it's in Thailand, maybe I can Zoom in. But I love theme meetings, and you have to invite me if you're on this workshop. I want to first start by telling you about, we had the most fun, and Dave has already told you a little bit about our 60s meeting. Yvette, could you please share the first document? Now, what she's going to be sharing with you is, you know, the internet is your best friend when you're having a theme meeting, because I needed a refresher on the terms that were said in the 60s, and this will be posted on the website. So don't worry about screen sharing or taking a picture of it. So, and it's funny, with the 60s, there was even some new language. People still say a lot of the words in the 60s. So it was really fun. So I sent out an email. Thank you, Yvette. I sent out an email everybody a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance, the week before, and 3 days before the meeting. Sometimes I texted the terms, but I wanted everybody to come with prepared to say stuff in the 60s, and they all really took ownership of it. We had such an amazing time. Now, I looked around for a speaker, somebody who could talk maybe about the 60s, and I asked the obvious people in my club, and they weren't really feeling it. So that's the time that you want to go outside your club. And I asked one person, and that was my only stop I had to make. I don't know if any of you know, but he's big in District 33 out here. His name is Al Brown. And I knew in the 60s he would have been a working adult. And he did the most amazing speech about being in the control room at Cape Canaveral when the rocket took off. And we all just were riveted and got a really time capsule of what his job was like and what some of those pressures were. It was fantastic. Everyone agreed with me, utterly insane. And our table topic person, he did a great job. He wrote out a piece of paper with many different lists on it, with like 3 or 4 items. And he would say, Yvette, pick something from list 5 and talk about it. And everything on the list, there was one thing that you knew, if not every single item: the Cuban Missile Crisis, Martin Luther King, the first Corvette came out in the 60s. So he covered everything, so everybody would be able to talk about something. Yvette, could you share my agenda? Now, at first glance, you're just looking at a, agenda. But notice I did the fun 60s font at the very top. And I even put a purposeful mistake. Nobody could spot it. It was October 18th, 1968. That was my purposeful mistake. We are actually a Christian club. So we like to do a verse. And I picked the theme of love and peace because of the 60s. And then the word of the day, I had the grammarian get on board, and they selected gnarly. And then we also, in that little buzz up at the top, we do our purpose verse. In Toastmasters and in our club, this is like the verse that is in every single agenda. And on the bottom, you might not be able to see it, is also the mission statement, because I knew we were going to have guests, and you always want to have that mission statement read. That's what we always do. So I went through to the agenda, and you'll see I actually created a few different little things. I have a 60s quiz, and I'm going to go through that in a second. Yvette, thank you for the agenda. Now, one of the things about the agenda is it kind of looks boring on white paper. I'm sure you would agree. But it's fun because yellow, a bright yellow or a bright orange is sort of a perfect 60s color. And so I put it on colored copy, and it popped. And then everybody walks in the room and they see this, and they see, an orange piece of paper waiting for them in the room. And it's really fun. It starts getting the bug. Could you put up the song list?
Okay, that's the Aquarius one, right? Okay, let me know when you're seeing it. Are you seeing it?
I'm about to. It looks like it's about to unload. There we go. Okay, just about everybody knows the song Aquarius. So I put on my phone the song, and I kind of walked around the room, and I was having everybody sing this song because it's kind of a fun 60s song. It totally appeals to everybody. So not that we sing in our meetings, we rarely even do something like that, but just for fun, I did the Aquarius. And then on the other side, I pointed out to them early on, okay, I have a little quiz, and I had everybody fill it out during the course of the meeting. And when we went over the answers, there was actually one member very surprised that they were able to figure out each of the answers. But it was fun because people who didn't know anything about the 60s, they really got an all-around overview, and they learned stuff about the 60s. It was great fun. Yvette, thank you. And I decided with this 60s night that, what is more laid back than having pizza? And it wasn't expensive at all to go to Costco and to pick up some pizzas. People love food. You bring food, you advertise you're bringing food, they will come. A lot of our members even brought their spouses that they don't normally bring. We had loaded down with food. We got a case of water bottles, and we got some salad. It was really cinchy, and it was very inexpensive. The next thing I want to show you is the flyer. Yvette, please. I have no capability of making decent flyers, none whatsoever. I had one of our members who lives for doing this kind of stuff, and they created this beautiful flyer for me that could be emailed, that could be texted to everybody, and it definitely drew in a lot of interest. We do something very different in our club in that we do always have a Christmas kind of holiday meeting, and we always do different things. So it never gets old. The only thing that we do that's a tradition is we sing 12 Days of Christmas. And that's because I've got a guy who can do 5 golden rings. They know that verse has to really be belted out. And he just makes us all really laugh. And, you know, Yvette, thank you for the flyer. And I'll take the agenda now too, please. Now this agenda doesn't look like much, but when it's on red paper, it really pops. And most of the time I don't do this, but in this particular agenda, I got rid of the times because I didn't want anyone focusing because I had a surprise for everybody. And I just wanted to let the meeting unfold. It's always nice to have 1 or 2 little surprises that just a handful of people know. And so I'm just giggling because that was so much fun. So that is basically our agenda. We've got the verse, we've got our purpose for, and we always, like I said, have the mission statement. So thank you so much, Yvette. Can we put up the song sheet? Now, normally we don't sing, but I just so happen to throw about 3 different songs on the table that everybody could see and participate. And even though there's a little bit of color at the top, this looked absolutely beautiful on like a green piece of paper. So I fully believe that colored paper is always the way to go, not colored ink on white paper. Thank you, Yvette. I also had a little trivia game that was kind of fun. Now, I've done trivia for 60s and trivia for Christmas, and those are the only trivia things that I have done in the club, but I'm just so happy to share with you these 2 meetings. And these are, you know, just sort of odds and ends. I found these on the internet, and I thought they'd be interesting to others, and probably half knew some and the rest of the half didn't. So it was fun to be able to go through this at the very end of the meeting. Thank you, Yvette. And all of these documents will be posted. And then I did a game that I created called Outburst. Outburst is one of those games that you could totally take on a theme of any sort. If you Google directions to Outburst, you get the directions, and that's pretty much all you need. And I created a Christmas theme outburst, and that document is going to be shared. I just didn't want to overwhelm you guys with too many documents, but my outburst Christmas game will be shared on the website. Now, speaking of surprises, I love surprises, and I have a surprise for everybody right now. I have a member of my club, Toast to the Master and Lord. Her name is Ruth Schleppy Verbone, and she's been in our club now for 3 years. From the get-go, she jumped in because she wanted to grow her confidence in public speaking, improve her English vocabulary. She's originally from Holland. And she wanted to stop that red face that comes when you're asked to speak in public. I suffered from red face for years. I'm sure some of you have. She's a mother, she's an entrepreneur, she's an avid traveler, and she's actually a published author. The title of her book is OMG, The Quest for God or No God. And she actually became inspired to read this book on her many travels, experience in different countries and religion. And as a parent, she wrote this book with her kids in mind to help them make a well-informed decision in what to believe. It could be purchased on Amazon. Anyway, Ruth, please come on and tell us about hosting the international theme.
Thank you, Lynn. And thank you, Yvette, for helping us to stay all on track. And hello to everybody around the world. Lynn and I are in a club in Los Angeles County. And let me tell you something about Los Angeles County, because did you know that the total population in Los Angeles County is 10 million people? It's actually over 10 million people. And did you know that these 10 million people are a well-formed, wide, eclectic group of diversity and ethnic groups made up from 140 countries? 140, I was really amazed by that. And they speak, all these 10 million people together, they speak over 225 different languages. Wow. And I'm not even speaking about the people with multiple, that speak multiple languages or that have multiple nationalities. It's probably almost like our gathering tonight. We're all over the world and we all have a different background and a different language and a different traditions. A big and beautiful melting pot. So as a suggestion that I would like to suggest to you, that if you want to do a theme night and you want to make it easy on yourself and have a theme that will speak to everybody in the club, let it be an international night. I guarantee you that everybody will know and feel something about this. And we at Toast to the Masses and Lord, we had an international night a couple of months ago in February. And I am from Holland and moved to the United States 21 years ago. And as Lynn said, I've traveled all over the world. So I was so excited about this and I was happy to volunteer to organize this event. And the evening was a great success. It was so fun. And I want to share with you some of the tips that helped me to prepare for this. Some of the tips overlap with what Lynn has just said, and some are specific for International Night, but just take whatever you can use for this. My first tip is to be prepared, because I believe it's such an amazing feeling to walk into a room as a participant and know that they've been expecting you, that they are prepared for you, that they are ready for you, and that they're happy to see you. And you as the organizer, you cannot be engaging and warm if you still have a million things to do. So be prepared, be early, check all that you need to bring and set everything up in time, so that when the first guests arrive, that you are able to be welcoming and warm and engaging with everybody. I actually wasn't prepared very well, because when I arrived to set up everything for the International Night, I noticed that I forgot the agendas. I printed out the agendas and I forgot them. Yvette, do you have that picture of the agendas? Because I took a picture when I came back home, and here they are, the agendas, still waiting for me at home. This one. So, and this actually not being completely prepared, it gave me so much stress. It's just an agenda, but it gave me so much stress and self-doubt, and I didn't need that at the moment. So double check and be prepared. Secondly, decide on your goal of the evening or your intention for the event. For me, that really helps to set the tone of an event. And this time for us, it was to create a connection in all our differences. So that was the intention of the event. And your goal can be maybe something like that, maybe something deeper even, or maybe just an evening to have fun together and share an evening together and learn more about each other. So whatever your goal or intention is, keep that in mind with planning the evening and also setting the theme of the night. And of course, the theme of the night is International Night for us, but that's more the umbrella theme. But our specific theme of the night for this evening was how we connect in different cultures. And I was inspired by a Dutch word, because as I said, I'm from Holland. And the Dutch word that I chose was gezellig. There's not a translation of gezellig in English, but it means something as a cozy togetherness and a welcoming, homely atmosphere. Gezellig. And I also choose it as the word of the evening. Super funny, of course, because gezellig is such a difficult word for English speakers with the ge, but everybody did well and everybody mentioned gezellig a couple of times. And that made it very funny. And at the beginning of the evening, I did an introduction on the word gezellig and how we in the Netherlands find ways of togetherness and create moments of togetherness. And during this evening, I was also the Toastmaster, and I highly recommend that you are the Toastmaster when you organize a meeting, because it will help you to set the tone and to weave the whole evening together around the theme. The third one, the agenda. Lynn already spoke about the agenda, but for me, it really helped to think what I wanted with the agenda. I didn't want to change it too much and make it too different than our regular meetings, but I did want it to fit our theme and also the goals of the specific participants who were helping me. So I had a few members in mind who I knew had interesting stories to tell about this topic, and I spoke to each one of them and discussed the theme of the evening with them. Some had specific goals, as I said, like my friend Lina. And Yvette, maybe you can share that picture of Lina sitting at the table. You see Lina here. Lina's from the Ukraine. And she did a panel discussion on the topic, which was great. But it was a specific speech that she had to do, longer than normal. It was 20 minutes, but I could put that in the agenda and it worked really well. And Lina spoke to different people, different members from different cultures, and also spoke about the theme. And Lina, you see her on the left, she's in full traditional costume from the Ukraine, which made it very cool. My fourth point is one of my favorite things in speeches, and that is to bring props. Whether you are, I'm telling you, whether you are in kindergarten, high school, or in Toastmasters, everything is more interesting with props. And that's the next picture, maybe Yvette, you can show the next picture. The props that I brought is my teapot, the teapot that my mom used, the copper teapot. And I had teacups, because for us in Holland, a thing how we connect and come together is koffie drinken in the morning. We sit together and we have coffee. I have almost 4 grown children. They have all been at home, back at home, during our time in COVID-19. And that's what we do now, right now in quarantine. We have coffee together every morning. And sometimes we talk about everything, sometimes, most of the times actually, I should say, we talk about nothing, but it's a time of lightness and togetherness. And I wanted to show that to the club. So I brought my teapot. I also had another teapot that I brought. I brought the cups, my porcelain cups. We don't like paper cups in Holland, so I brought my porcelain cups, and I asked everybody to come a little bit earlier so that we could have tea and coffee together, and I brought chocolate and cookies, and that made it very informal and fun. A few other things I did to make the evening memorable and light was I asked everyone to bring a flag. You can see that behind me in the picture, that it was so fun because some people had printed them out and some colored them, because I also brought crayons and a stack of paper. And when everybody was drinking their coffee and their tea, they were coloring the flags, and then we hang them all behind me at the rope. And I made it very fun, and everybody had something to say about the flags. So that helped me too. So number 1, be prepared. Number 2, decide on the specific theme of the meeting. And number 3, think of what you want in the agenda and prepare. Number 4, bring props. And number 5, have a small activity that will engage everyone, like the flags. And lastly, to sum it all up, you can prepare all that you want, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way as how you want it. But just let it go. Because remember your intention. That's why I think it's so important to set your intention of the evening. The first thing what you do is your intention. And remember your intention. Like for me, I'm such a perfectionist, and not bringing those agendas really frustrated me, but I was able to let it go because I remembered the intention that I had with the evening. And the intention was to bring togetherness and connection in all our diverse backgrounds. And after all, I think it is all about gezellig, right? So those are my tips for an international night. Back to you, Lynn. And thank you, Yvette.
Thank you, Ruth. Did everybody like my surprise? Excellent job, Ruth. And I also just want
Thank
to
you.
add to it. She had this panel up there, and each of the people on the panel had amazing little stories to tell about the culture, about don't ever do this because you'd be insulting these people. And it was fascinating to learn more about my members, as well as to hear about other cultures. I mean, that night blew me away. And I asked her, hey, Ruth, can I help you? She goes, I got this, Lynn. She knew I had just planned Christmas and she wanted me to just come and relax and enjoy, and that I did. Just one other quick thing I wanted to say about Christmas. I eliminated 2 positions, and you're really not supposed to do this, but I did it. You're not supposed to eliminate any roles from any meeting, but I also included a song master. This is Christmas we're talking about, as well as a game master. So if you need to eliminate roles, be sure that you add in some that might be germane to the theme, because you don't want to eliminate any roles. Now I'm going to tell you something that's going to be related to theme, but also related to bettering your club. In our club, we do a brainstorming session. Our sessions are usually 1 year long in term, so it starts July 1 for the new president, which happens to be Ruth. You just met her. And so what you do is around June, maybe end of May, we have a club brainstorming session. Yvette, can you pull up my little brainstorming thing? So with brainstorming, I don't know if you've ever done a brainstorming session. You don't always start out with theme meetings and activities that the club wants to plan. You start out with something like, as a club, what do we do well? And it's just sort of a little warm-up exercise. If you're going to jog, you don't run out the door and not stretch and, do that. So Yvette would normally, if we were in an in-person meeting, I would be talking and Yvette would probably be behind me, and she'd be writing down things, what we did well. We have a really good mentorship program. We have fun theme meetings, and then how we can improve. Maybe we can come up with a way to help our members more with pathways, and we write down a few of those things. And then I start asking for, okay, everybody, what would you like to see the new board accomplish over the course of the year? And a lot of good information came out on this. One of our members said, I would like it if we would do a fun game night. So now it's a tradition in our club. You easily have come, if not more, and we have a fun game night like on Saturday nights. That came out of a brainstorming session. And so then I asked people, okay, what kind of theme meetings would you like to do? And people write, Hawaiian, and there's this and there's that. And then we talk about each of the themes individually. Okay, if we did a Hawaiian night, what would we do? Oh, everybody can come over to my house and we could build a pit and do that. Or, I know how to get free lays on Oriental trading, or stuff like that. You start brainstorming how it could be pulled off. And then when the executive board, we have another tradition in our club that come around the beginning of July, end of July, we have a 2 to 3 hour brainstorming session. And the club plans, not the club, sorry, the executive board, they plan it about 2 or 3 hours the entire year. They plan our 3 to 4 meetings, which do not include, by the way, open houses. And by the way, you want a successful open house, you invite somebody who has a following, people that love to hear that person speak. We've actually received members when we've invited somebody with an open house following. Really a good way to go. So that's really about it. Now, a lot of people get kind of vested and it's like, oh, but I want the Hawaiian theme and the beach theme. Well, no problem. Everybody is allowed 2 votes. So you can vote 1 vote or you can vote 2 votes for your theme. And then at the end of that, we discuss a little more in detail the 1, 2, 3, and 4 that won out. And then there you go. You've got your meeting. All the members felt included in that. And the executive board just sort of oversees. But it does not have to be anybody on the executive board that, you know, follows through with the theme. It can be anybody. And I actually encourage new people to get involved in some of those theme meetings. New people have such refreshing, great ideas, and I would definitely include them. And we have a 20-minute orientation that we do for our new members about every 2 months, and we talk about them. Get involved, help us plan some of these theme meetings, and they do, and it's been very successful. Thank you, Yvette. One of the things that sometimes we forget to do is we forget to take pictures of our theme meetings. And, you know, Ruth did great with that. And we also have some group shots where we're all wearing our 60s garb or wearing our Christmas hats. And it's such an easy thing to do is, you know, people walk out the door and it's like, oh, get back here. We need to take a picture for Instagram. So don't forget to take a picture, because you want to be able to show people we have fun. And then if they miss the theme meeting, it's like, well, there's going to be another theme meeting in 3 months from now, so you better come to that one. Now, since I do have a little bit of time, I just thought I'd go through some extra tips that we do in our club that work really well. We do a show and share night. And when we do a show and share, we may have one speaker or we may not. And instead of table topics, we've asked everybody to come with some little doodad. We've done it for Christmas parties, and we go like, this is my favorite ornament, and I love it, and it has meaning, and I talk for about 3 minutes on that ornament, and you just get to know people better. I love meetings where it's like, oh, I didn't know that about you. That's so great. So show and share is really fun. We've done it for Valentine's Day. We probably don't do it more than every year and a half, but those are very fun meetings. In the September issue of 2019 of the Toastmaster magazine, they actually had a wonderful article about theme creative type of meetings. So I suggest you go on and look that up as well, because those will be some fun things that I know some of your members will want to do. And overall, at every single meeting that we have, the Toastmaster and the table topics, they get together on the theme. And then people naturally follow suit. The joke master, it's like, hey, I noticed the theme's on this, so I'm going to do that. So it's really always nice. And I tell you, guests, when they do guest comment time and we've all kind of followed the meeting theme, and I'm just talking about a regular meeting, they love it, they notice it, and they are impressed. Well, that really kind of sums it up. I've given you examples of 3 meetings and lots of tips and timeline. 2 months is not too early. I promise you, because it'll just start snowballing. You need 2 months. I'm going to turn control of the workshop over to Dave, who's got a few announcements and things he would like to say.
Yes, thank you very much, Lynn. You know, I think this has been a very interesting and useful and informative workshop, Lynn, because I just realized, you know, what turns guests into members, and what keeps members coming back is, of course, they have to get value. They have to be developing their leadership and communication skills. But we've talked about in my own club, we need to have fun. Who doesn't want to have fun? Really, you remember those times, and you just keep looking forward to the next one. You don't have to, I'm sure that you have fun in all your meetings. You probably don't just have fun every quarter, right, Lynn? So this is there's a lot of effort. You said there's a lot of time it takes to plan a theme meeting. I know that we took some time, primarily you did, to plan this event tonight. So I would like to thank several people who helped us put on this great workshop, starting with District 33 Director, Flora Turner, who helped us market this workshop worldwide. She's the one who put it on the Toastmasters International Group Members website and Facebook page. Also, Mary Lane Beatty, who was very instrumental in helping Lynn coordinate this. Yvette Genio, who was our technical master tonight. And especially Ruth Sleppy Verboom for her surprise 5 to 7 minute speech. And lastly, of course, for Lynn Scardina Robinson. I don't know whose idea it was to put this on, but Lynn, you did a great job with it. Excellent job of sharing ideas for theme meetings, very practical tips for planning, implementing, and remembering all of these theme meetings. So I just want to thank you immensely. Good job. Everybody like this? Are there any questions anybody wants to pop up at this time? I know we have, probably a few minutes left for questions. Are there any questions, Yvette, in the chat?
I have a question. For the Christmas meeting, how many speakers did you have on that agenda?
I believe we had one because we wanted to take the time to do the trivia, and we had the game, and we had somebody who's led songs before. And also with Christmas, one of the members said, I have a Santa Claus outfit. That's another reason why I didn't want to put the times down, because I didn't want people to see why I was giving Mark 20 minutes to do table topics. So yeah, normally times go on, but in that time, I just wanted to surprise everybody with Santa, and they were surprised. Did I answer the question?
Yes. And just one more quick question. How often do you have the theme meetings?
We do 3 to 4 a year. We probably do one in October, and then there's Christmas, and then we'll do one around March or April. It kind of depends about the contests and about when we might have an open house as well. I wouldn't do theme meetings too often, because then you don't want everybody to expect it, and they are a fair amount of work. So maybe like every 2 months or so, it's almost enough. And our club meets every other week. It kind of depends. My crazy club, we met every week, so it was like 50 weeks a year, and we had at least 8 theme meetings a year. And that's what they wanted to do as a club. They decided. Okay, Christina, I know that you had a question, so I'm going to take yours right now.
Oh, appreciate it, Lynn. Thank you for the amazing workshop. I do have a question. How to get club members motivated early on who just like to go and have the routine of no themes, but just to get them, just to get the idea out there and, you know, just to get out of their comfort zone.
You know, it just really takes one really motivated, energized person. Because at the business meetings at the end of the night, you want to make sure to be promoting that in the club. And you don't want someone just getting up, yep, we got a theme meeting in 5 weeks and it's going to be fun. You want to make sure that person is, oh, and we've got this planned, and be sure to dress up, and, you know, just be over the top. Sometimes as Toastmasters, we don't want to do like a bold gesture, but like that's what we need. We need boldness. And if you can get one person on board with you, and then maybe 2 of you pull off your first theme meeting, the other people will be going like, wow, that was fun. Lead by example. You know, maybe if you can't get anybody motivated, bring in one of your buddies from, you know, the area or the division that will help you pull it off.
Lynn?
Lynn?
Yes, I have a question about your regular theme meetings, the theme that you would have on your agenda just for a regular meeting, not a special theme meeting. I know one of my clubs would get the theme list done up for the entire year, ask people for suggestions for themes, and they would make suggestions, and then that would be the night they would take on the Toastmaster role. And I know other clubs struggle because they, week before the meeting, they book who's going to be their Toastmaster, and then say, make sure you send the theme to everybody, and the person doesn't always decide right away. Do you have a system that makes it easy so that everybody knows what the theme is well in advance?
Well, we have trained people. We do speaking tips about, okay, when you're the Toastmaster, it's your job to sort of rally the troops and bring the agendas and get the table topic person on board. You want to try to, as much as possible, to get the table topics to go along with the theme. And then you've really got a nice theme throughout the meeting. And sometimes what I do is I will, like friendship, for example, let's say that's going to be the theme. I will find out who's your best friend, and I will ask everybody. So when it's time to introduce the general evaluator, Tom's friend is so-and-so, and they love to go on fishing trips together, and it just sort of like gets them all motivated. I normally don't do an introduction for the general evaluator, except for something tiny that goes with the theme. And then it gets fun. People like learning about, I didn't know Bob liked to fish. So there's just, little things.
Do you have your Toastmaster do the agenda or the VP Ed?
Our agendas are on Free Toast Host. They look like the one that Ruth showed you. I usually go outside and I have somebody help me prepare an agenda because I want to do other doodads and I want to put a little border around it and I want to put it on color paper so it pops. So Ruth chose to do the Free Toast Host, and that's fine. You kind of, when you're in charge, you can sort of figure it out, and doing a regular agenda, or you could put the regular agenda on colored paper just to make it different and a little stand out.
I just know some clubs, the Toastmaster is the one who organizes the agenda and books all the people for the different things, but in a lot of other clubs, it's the VP Ed's responsibility.
I know, and that's too bad. What our Toastmaster would do is he will send people out, hey, I don't see you down as not being able to come, so would you please sign up? And the Toastmaster on the Free Toast Host site has the power to go in and put people in and take people out to help along with the meeting. And when it's time for the meeting, everything is filled, to the best of our ability. That's what we try to do.
Thank you.
Lynn, we do have a few questions in the chat. I can go ahead and read those out loud for you. We had
Sure.
one from Caroline, who had wanted to know, she was curious to know the date of the Toastmasters magazine published, the referenced
Okay,
article.
that's September of last year. And it was like 5 pages long. If you can't find it, ask around for help, maybe somebody who's really savvy up at the TI website, but I'm sure you can find it if you toss the magazine out by now.
Okay, we have another question. It was from Thomas McCormick. He was wanting some guidance on themes for online meetings, if you have those.
That's a
It's a long
good
shot.
question. I hadn't really thought about that. The only real theme meeting that we did was we had an end of the year celebration. Our president wanted to hand out awards to people, and we do something like we keep track of attendance. So we had a most attended meetings, the one that won the best evaluator all throughout the year, the best table topics. Oops, technical difficulties. And
Okay.
best table topics, by the
Lynn,
way.
can
Let me
I
give a little
chime
shout
in?
out. Yes. Go ahead, Ruth.
For a good meeting or a team meeting on Zoom could be tell something about your house, and then have the table topics about your house. Then you give it your iPhone. You can give a very quick 2-minute tour or tell something of the room that you're in.
That's
And bring your
nice.
teacup. Show your teacup.
My dog shows up with me to every Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
He's usually right here
That's a good one
because
too.
he's trying to like jump on my purse or do something naughty while I'm focused on the Zoom. That's a great idea, Ruth.
Okay, Lynn, we have another question. This is from Stacy. Stacy, I'm not going to say your last name because I don't want to mess that one up. The question is, do you recommend doing theme meetings at the time of your regular meeting or doing it at a different time?
Well, for my club, we love theme meetings so much that every installation, we always made it a Saturday night. And it would vary depending on what kind of meeting it was. If it was the beach, there's a restaurant in Marina del Rey where your feet can actually go in their sand, and that was sort of fun. Sometimes there are private homes. It just really varies on the theme. It's the people that's in charge decide what location. Like we don't do in my club now that I'm in, we don't do theme meetings on a Saturday night other than we do a game night. And afterwards, one of the things that came out in the brainstorming is we like each other and we actually want to socialize. So after the meetings, about every other time, maybe every 6 weeks, we run over to BJ's restaurant in normal, non-Zoom time. And some people get a beer, some people get dinner late, and we just have a really great time of meeting up. And actually a great amount of training goes on at those BJs because people have questions, especially the new ones. They're so excited. It's just endless amount of questions. So it's a really great relaxed atmosphere to do something outside. You know, you could try, if you've never done a potluck, you could try doing like a Sunday afternoon. You know, you could add a game to it. Outburst, I'm telling you, is super fun. 10 people or more you can do Outburst with.
Okay, all right, we do have another question. This one is from Mimi. In between those bigger themed meetings, do you still have fun themes such as ugly tie?
Yes, and we did Crazy Hat Night, and yet we didn't talk about hats. There was no speech on hat. I don't even think the table topics was on hats, but it was just kind of fun to show up at Crazy Tie. I like that. Ruth, remember that.
Okay, and I have one more question here. This one is from Betty. I'm not sure I understand this one, Betty, but it says, is it, quote, infuse your club with vitamin C, unquote? Maybe if Betty can explain a little bit more about what her question was. She's,
I was looking for the actual article. I was looking in that September edition, and I was just wondering if that was it.
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay.
Okay, I don't see any more questions in the chat. If I missed anyone, please feel free to chime in. But other than that, I think that's about it for questions.
Okay. Anybody else? Last takers. And by the way, Yvette, would you do me a favor and put up my email right now for everybody? If some of you happen to got the link from somebody else and you don't have my email address, feel free. I'm more than happy. The best compliment is copy. So if anybody wants to copy the agenda or copy anything, use it. Go for it.
Did you say you're going to post it on your district website?
Yes, District 33 website is going to have every document that I listed, and it's going to have the Outburst game. And I put some photos up of our 60s night and our Christmas. And somebody said something about an ugly sweater party at Christmas. That's great. That's great. Some of you might prefer not to necessarily do a Christmas meeting. You might just prefer to do a Christmas party, but all that stuff works.
Hey, Lynn, it's Dave. I haven't got approval to put on the district website, but I can definitely put it on the District 33 Division C website.
Okay.
And then,
All right.
That'll be, I guess you should tell everybody right now, it's d33c.org.
One more time.
Put it in the chat box, d33c.org.
And this
Okay.
is the District 33 website, correct?
Nope.
Right.
That's a D30. That's a District 33 Division C website. It's just
Division
D33C.
Okay.
It's a division website.
All right. Good to know. Everybody's got that. And Yvette, you shared my email?
That's done.
Okay, all right, you can look at the chat and grab my email. And remember, you pinky swore you were gonna invite me to your theme meetings, so I'm expecting 33 invitations, or what are we up to now?
We were up to 45.
45, okay, I expect 45 invites. Okay, if there's nothing else, thank you guys all for coming. Hope you learned something. Have a good evening.
And also, if anybody's looking for the article, thank you very much, Betty. Betty posted it in the chat.
Oh,
My
great.
gratitude, Betty, appreciate that.
Oh, Betty. Betty, you're awesome.
How do we save the chat so that we can at least pull it up?
In the box where you normally type, directly to the right, there's 3 little dots. If you click down on those, the top, it has a drop-down menu. At the top, it says Save Chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
I'll be doing that anyway before we close the room, just so you
Oh,
know.
perfect. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
Thank you,
Anybody
Pam.
need anything? You
Great
think of
meeting.
questions later? Email me.
Great meeting. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you all for coming from
Awesome.
far and wide.
I have to say, this is the best district workshop in a long time. Thank you. Something different than.
I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was good.
Yes, we need this. I want, especially for myself, I definitely need this for my club, my book club.
Yeah, I know. Some clubs, need a little boost.
Yeah,
And this is a great boost, fun boost. Just get one other partner to carry off the first one if you can't drum up interest, and they'll be hooked.
Mhm. Yeah.
Use my documents as much as you want. Put your names in, replace mine, fine.
Moment of truth is good too, but then just to get the energy to get to, afterwards. So, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And dressing up, I cannot tell you how much fun that is for people. They love it. And you walk into the room and you hear giggling going on, and you look at the table and you see colored stuff. For the 60s, I actually went online to my best friend, the internet, found out the best 60s candies. So I went to the 99-cent store and I just scattered candy all around the table. It looked pretty. And people were appreciative of some sweets after pizza dinner.
Very nice.
Okay,
Okay.
I think we're good. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Yvette.